Okay. All right, guys, I'm so excited. We actually did a Zoom with Rachel. I think it was like in February. And so we just need to like shout her out in the chat because she's the reason why all of us are succeeding with Host to Post. She shared all of her tips with us in February. And it's just so awesome to just see how like she's growing. She's my accountability partner. And we've just been like in contact daily. And she's just someone who I look up to so much. And I know you guys are just going to hear something that sticks with you tonight. Whether you've heard it 5 times, you're going to hear something that's just going to resonate with you. And I just pray that like this just blesses everyone who's on here. I know it's going to be so good. So Rach, if you don't mind just, just kind of getting started sharing like a short story, and we'll jump into questions after that.
Okay, cool. Hi guys. I was telling Ashley, I'm just nervous. I just feel like when you have to come back a second time or even a third, I think we both done it for each other 3 times. And I always learn something new every time, even though I'm like, wait, she said it 3 years ago, but it like clicked again. I don't know. I got really weird. I'm feeling really nervous. So love me, but hopefully I can tell you everything that you need to hear because I do feel like I'm in a different headspace than last time I was on. So thank you guys for having me back. But oh my goodness, it's about to be 6 years. It'll be 6 years in September. And I just am a completely different person than when It Works found me in 2014. And so I have a story that probably a lot of you guys have where I wasn't looking for It Works because I had actually tried a company fresh out of high school. And it was like a 2-month thing, like I sucked. I just was 19 years old and I just didn't do good. But I was so young and ignorant that I'm like, surely it's not the company, it's just me. Like I'm not a salesperson. So I wasn't looking for this, but I did things out of order. I was 20 when I got pregnant in college. I was a full-time waitress and I was on government assistance. And I would have dropped out of college if my parents weren't paying for my education, but they were like, you're staying, you're halfway there and you put all this money and you're sticking it out. So I got pregnant and had my son in college and life was hard. And I just kind of went from the mindset of this is how life is going to be because I was young, dumb, and broke literally to there's got to be more to life than this. And around that time was when It Works found me. I saw it on social media. One person, literally, I kid you not, there was only one person. And all I knew was the wrap because she was posting belly, 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 belly. And I was just this young, insecure mom. And I'm like, I want to look like that. So I bought a wrap and I loved it. And I couldn't become a customer because moms come at the bottom of the totem pole and I didn't have the money. And that same day that I told her I didn't have the money to become a customer, I joined her team because she told me enough to where I was like, surely I can make at least $100 to $200 a month. Like that's how bad we were struggling that I'm like, can at least do that and that would be great. So I didn't join for 500. I joined for a lot less. And I used a credit card and Zach wasn't on board, but I just had this feeling in my stomach that I could do at least 100 to 200 and I joined. And at the time, the thing that was super enticing was going diamond in 3 months and get that $10,000 bonus. And so I feel really annoying at this point because I keep talking about it on every Zoom, but I'm just like, it's back. It's freaking back. That was what like changed everything for me was going diamond in my first 3 months and getting that comma in my paycheck. And now it's $15,000 instead of 10,000. So that was really exciting because that comma changed everything. And I know some of the stuff we can't really say. I just realized that maybe this is not as private as I think, but hey, well, that changed everything for us. And 5 months in, we quit our job and the rest truly is history. We had another kid along the way. Prior to the business, Zach said we were like a one and done. Like I couldn't have another kid because we couldn't even afford the one kid that we did have. So a lot of things changed. And it's funny when you start making money, how your dreams and hopes and wishes all transform. And sometimes we make our mind up that we don't want certain things just to let ourselves down a little easy. I just got done talking about this on a Zoom. Like I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, like anti-stay-at-home moms. I was like, that'd be boring. That's not my thing. But now that I have like the money to back it up, and now that I'm like, I've been a stay-at-home mom for all these years. I mean, I don't always enjoy it like they're in school, but I think I just was so against it because it wasn't in the cards for us because of our income. So instead of being like, well, I really want to be one, but I can't, I was like, heck no, I don't want to do that. So I feel like it's crazy how our mind works because once we started making money, I was like, wait, I want that. I need that time with my kid. I've always wanted to be that. So that's just kind of my short story. We prep up and there are parts of my story that I think you might want me to talk on, but I'm just going to let you ask those questions. We've had a lot of ups and downs throughout this. And now this year has just been wild. Like this year has been very interesting. A lot of breakthroughs, a lot of, I don't know, change of heart. And it's just really good. But anyways, we went ambassador last year and now we're doing it all over again.
Yes, so awesome. So yeah, one thing I wanted you to touch on is because, okay, guys, you're hearing, she said, okay, so how quickly did you went triple? It was like 9 months, right?
15.
Oh, okay, 15 months. Still
That was
really, really
fast.
fast. That's really fast to go triple that quick. And so, yeah, so you hit, oh, a little bit over a year, you go triple. And so then what happened after that? Because you had a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're going to talk about that, like, how life is different now, working your business now, but also with a newborn, how, working your business with that, and how did your life completely change? And so where you were at after you had went triple, and how you kind of like went through the valley and then, crept back up the mountaintop, and just those ups and downs that I think a lot of people are like, oh, cool, she's been in 6 years, she's ambassador, she's about to go presidential 2.0. But like some people need to hear the real raw, like just, climbing up that mountaintop. So it's not as easy as it all sounds when we always say our story. Oh, I did this, but we want to hear everything.
Yeah, it was actually around this time ish. Yeah, like a month ago, like 3 years ago, around this time, I see it on my timeline that life got really freaking hard. So I joined in 2014, and then I went triple. I joined at the end of 2014, and I went triple at the beginning of 2016. And so I went triple, and then it was literally right after we got that first triple check, which was so great, and it totally got in my head when we were making really good money super fast. But I got that check, and then I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant, but we had planned for that. So that part was a little different because it wasn't like, oh, what are we going to do? It was like, praise God, we've been trying for 6 months, which doesn't seem like that much, but it felt like it took us 7 bajillion years the second time. And so I got pregnant, found out it was a boy. And I thought that it would be a breeze because my first pregnancy was, besides the fact that I gained like 75 pounds, and it wasn't. It was so horrible, and everything around me just kind of crumbled because of just everything sucked. So I got pregnant, and that was right when I did triple. And honestly, you guys, I've done ambassador, and then we're about to do Pres 2.0. And out of all those diamond and above promotions, I've done it on Zach's account so many different times. Triple on my 1.0 was the worst thing in the world, like borderline divorce, like crazy. I don't know. It just because it felt so wrong, but I was forcing it, and I just was a psycho. And then I got pregnant, or I was pregnant, or I found out, whatever. And so it was all around there. And my pregnancy just knocked me upside down, and I was miserable. I was puking every day, and I just was like, I don't want to do it works. Like I felt like so entitled. Like I worked my butt off. I'm at the top as like a triple diamond. Why do I have to work all the time to maintain this? Like I was just so spiteful. My marriage wasn't good. Everything around me was bad. And it was so bad that I wasn't even enjoying my pregnancy. I was really mad that I was even pregnant after wanting it so bad. And then my It Works business just started crumbling slowly but surely. Every month at month's end, it wasn't a pleasurable maintaining triple. It was forcing, this isn't fun, this is really hard. And then come August, which was a couple months after I went triple, Zach sat me down and was like, you need to wrap your head around the fact that like you're going to not maintain this month. Like we couldn't force it anymore. And I knew that it was literally slipping out of my hands. And that might sound like some of you guys might totally judge him that he did that, but it was like I was so psycho and caught up in It Works and what I had accomplished with triple that he had to like mentally prepare myself. And I lost rank for the first time ever. I lost rank in August of 2016. And now it's funny, I look back and I'm like, why did I let it affect me that bad? Because now it's like I've lost rank since then. And it's just a fact of life. But I was so new in the business, and I felt like a failure, and I felt like it was plastered on my head. And I remember even Zach being like, no one's gonna know. Like, why are you so obsessed with your title? And I'm like, well, the people above me will know. Like, I don't know. I had everything wrapped up in it. So I lost rank. And at that time, I was like, I'm really over this. So I wasn't showing up for my team. I was just doing the bare minimum. I was still miserably pregnant. And then 2 months later, I gave birth. And that month was all wrapped around just getting him out of me. I just didn't even care about It Works. And I was so caught up in just having my kid that I didn't realize that I was going to and did lose double. So I had went from triple down to diamond, and it was a high paid triple to a low paid diamond. And no one taught me how to use my money. Like no one, I love what they're doing right now. They're talking about saving and tithing and all the things. And we're financially, finally, we figured it out. It's like freaking finally we figured it out. But back then it's like when you're spending the money you don't have, and then you lose it, and then you're freaking out, everything's crazy. So anyways, long story short, we went from triple down to diamond, and it was hard. And Zach went back to work for 2 months, and I had given birth at the end of November of 2016. All of December was basically a decision of, do I stay or do I go? I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to be a failure, but it's like I had sucked at It Works for so stinking long that I was like, maybe this is like God's sign. Like if I can't even figure out my like rhyme or reason, my system, like I couldn't get back in. I felt like I just didn't know what to do. And so I soul searched like crazy that month. And I'm like, if this isn't meant to be anymore, like just slam the freaking door in my face. And I remember having an argument with Zach when he was, had made the decision that he was going to go back to work, and he started interviewing for different jobs and stuff. And I was just like so sour because my newborn was horrible. So the pregnancy was bad and he had issues, and it was just really hard for the first 6 months of his life. So I was just really in a bad headspace. And I remember a fight we had, and he was like, I was just mad at him. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I don't want to be a single mom. Like, that's what I felt like. And I was like, how am I going to get my business back and try to raise 2 kids while you get to leave the house? Like, why do you get to leave? What if I should, like, maybe I should go get a job? Like, just thinking that he would be like, you got to stay home and do it works. And I remember he was like, yeah, maybe you should go get a job too. And I was just like, oh shoot, he's given up on it. And I was just like, that was just kind of the moment that I'm like, I need to freaking do it, because it's literally only up to me now. He doesn't think I can do it. I failed like this much. And so I just jumped back in the beginning of January of 2017. And you guys, there were no secret trips. Like, we didn't do host posts until my presidential month, which was April. So in January, we hadn't even had host posts yet, but I just was like, I made the decision. And I know that's not the answer that a lot of you want to hear, because you're like, that doesn't really help me. But I made the decision, and I always have had a strong set Elephant Lake, always had her own team page, always good. So it was like, okay, outside of her, who do I have left? I sent a video to them, and I'm like, I know I've sucked, I know all these things, but I'm ready. Give me a shot. Who's left? And I had 10 people outside of my strong leg, and I'm a triple that's supposed to be going pres, and that's how many people I had. They were all paid as distributor. It didn't matter what their lifetime rank was. I got them in a group chat, and I was just honest with them. I was so honest with them, even about my finances. Like, you guys, I know that I'm a triple, but I'm not a triple. Like, I am at the same plate. I'm on the level playing field with you guys. Like, I am equally struggling. That didn't make me feel good, but I felt like it took me off the pedestal that I didn't realize I was still on. And they were like, okay, she does get it. Like, it's hard for her too. And we were even and equal, and we did the things together. And I just literally retrained myself, stayed up later, watched other people's videos. I started like taking notes again. And it's funny. It's just like riding a bike. Like, if I were to get on a bike now, I'd be a little wobbly. It's been a minute and I'm a little overweight, but I'd figure it out. I'd start going and I'd get in that rhythm again. You never forget that. It's like, I feel like it's the same thing with leadership. Once you get to a certain place, you might suck a little bit and life might hit you, but once you practice those things again, it'll come back to you. And that's what it did. And then I went from diamond to presidential in the beginning of 2017 in 4 months. And after presidential, I was like, I'll be damned if I lose this all again. I did lose rank a couple other times, but it was like, it didn't break me, because I was so good, and I know that that's just business. It's not always easy. But I had made those mistakes so early in my business that I learned from them. And just because like I didn't maintain pres there was like a 6-month time frame that I was just paid as a high paid triple. And it is what it is. I wanted to be at my high rank, but I was just like, no one underneath me knows unless I tell them. Like, I'm not defined by my freaking rank. Like, I feel like when I was paid as a triple, even though my lifetime was pres, because I sat at pres for 2 years, I worked harder than some people that were above me. So don't be defined by what you're not paid as. Just use it as inspiration. And I think it's so great. And I'm so glad. I mean, I can confidently say I'm glad that all that happened now. When I was going through it, I was like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? But now it's like, I'm so open with it, because if you don't talk to your team about this, when they go through something, how do they know to stick it out? Like, how do they know that they're not a failure if they think that they're alone? Like, I don't ever want to be perfect, because how can they come to me if they, like, I don't want to be unapproachable. So I've always been very open with all of that. I don't think I was open till I came out of it, though. I make sure I don't like wallow in it while I'm in it. But I've always been open with it, you guys. And then after 2.0 or after Ambassador, opening up to 2.0, I kind of dealt with some of those weird things again of like, I don't know if I can do this. I felt behind. I got caught up in numbers because it's just so hard. And then everybody I was signing on my 2.0, it was like cancel. Like, they were full blown canceling their account, not just going inactive, canceling, like my first 3. And I remember having a talk with Claire, and I was just like, dude, I'm behind. Like, my number's gonna fall. Like, I'm gonna fall behind because I can't even get my 2.0 up and going, because it just messed with me, just another concept. And some of you guys might be on here and you're like, it's really scary to go from emerald to diamond, or you think about everything that comes at that level. And I was thinking about this brand new team and how I could be enough for them after I just got this separated team, and it was just weird. And I realized after talking to Claire about it, she was like, dude, you're cursing yourself. Like, I was just like, my 2.0 is cursed. It's hard. Like, every time I touch it, like something happens and it crumbles. And I was speaking this so confidently to her. And she was like, I just have to call it as it is. You are stopping yourself because all you're speaking is ill will. So you're either going to not build it because you are literally cursing it yourself by what you're speaking over it, or you're going to bring in bad people that don't stick because your 2.0 sucks according to you. So everyone you bring in and put on there are going to suck because that's how you're already setting up to be. This is like common sense stuff, but I was just like, oh my gosh, you're so right. And I went on a walk that day and I was like, that's so, like, I knew it, but you never know when someone's going to say something the way you didn't know you needed to hear at the right time, right moment. And I literally remember, because I was on a walk voicing it to her, so mad about all these things. And she said that to me. And I literally prayed and I prayed and I prayed out loud on that walk. And I felt like in that moment, I was just like, I surrender. This isn't my choice. Like, this isn't my plan. Like 2.0 at this point is all extra. Why am I so buck wild about it? Because I want to keep up with everyone else. Like, that's not why I joined. If I'm going to be blessed, I'm going to be blessed. But I wasn't ready to be blessed. And I wasn't ready to lead a new team because I had this sour taste in my mouth about a new team. And so it just was all like this clarity as I'm praying. And I just felt like this release of, I am ready. Like, I'm ready. I talked all this crap about my 2.0 team. I got it all out there. Someone called me out on it. I have released it all. I feel very guilty for it now. And now I'm ready. Like, bless me and bring those into my path that are ready for me to be a new leader. And I think that what scared me was I knew that I was going to make a lot of mistakes because I was literally starting over with my leadership on a new team that didn't know me. Going ambassador, they were my ride or dies, my veterans. Like, they loved me through it all. And I felt like I needed to prove myself to a new team, and it was weird. So anyways, I just released it all in that moment. I was praying, lead those into my path, Lord. I'm ready for the responsibilities that come with building a new team from the ground up. And I said it and I felt it and I believed it and I released it. And of course, I'd love for it to happen fast, but if it doesn't, well, I'll learn through it. And I kid you not, 5 people that day joined my 2.0 team out of nowhere. I wish I remembered where they came from, but I was just like, holy moly. And it worked out so divine and perfect to where 3 of them are on my top line. 1, 2, 3, and I've had 3 legs set. But I do want to say one thing real quick, and I know I'm totally taking this and running with it. I'm so sorry. And I only see my face, so I can't even read your guys' expressions. But one of those girls, the second one, my second leg, so I'm visualizing it, Brittany Taylor and Carly Taylor, was this cute little blogger on Instagram. She messaged me, all these things, signed her up. I'm like, she's going to be the one. She's the one. And she wasn't. And she was just cute and sweet, but her priorities weren't there. I felt like I was pulling teeth, and I finally was just like, just forget it. I was wrong about her. Cool. Sometimes we're wrong about people. And I left her be after about a month of just going back and forth, never signed a customer, nothing. I set her up for Ruby. She did nothing. She watched, and I dropped, I say that lightly. I dropped her in the sense of, like, I dropped my stress of trying to make someone that doesn't want to work, and I let her be. Never removed her from the team page, nothing. Kind of like a story, I think, if I remember yours right, Ashley, probably a lot like you, but she watched, she never got on any Zooms, but she watched quietly and just chilled for the rest. She joined last summer, chilled, nothing. End of December, she messages me and goes, I am so obsessed with your team's relationship and how I see you're doing Zooms all the time and all the things, and I just really want friends, and I want to give it another shot. Like, let me prove myself. Nothing about the money, because she's not married, no husband, makes $6,000 a month with her construction, weird job kind of thing. And I don't even know how someone makes $6,000 a month and she's like 22. It's weird. Anyways, so it wasn't the money, but she was like, I want to be a part of something. I have time. And so she was like, let me prove myself. I taught her host post. You guys, I kid you not, she went from like distributor to diamond from at the end of January to the end of February, and she's now going double for me to go pres this month, and she has signed like 50 plus customers every month. And now I'm just like, I didn't even teach her how to be a leader, and she like takes everyone under her wing, and it was the most weirdest thing. But I haven't had one of those situations happen in so long, and I thought it was so crazy that she joined me last summer, thought she was going to be good, timing wasn't on our side. I just lightly dropped her after a month of like forcing her, and it wasn't working out. But she still watched, and she still watched, and she still watched. And then she came back, and it was just the craziest thing ever. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. But I've had a lot of realizations as I've gone. And then this year has been even more different because, I mean, let alone like the stuff that's actually happening in the world that we can't control, but just the fact of it all happening so fast. I had this weird, like, breakdown 2 weeks ago, and I called Cami, and I'm not a complainer. I'm really not a complainer. For the most part, I don't think I am. Hopefully people that get on the ambassador call, I'm just kidding. I don't really complain. I don't think I complain, but I don't get defeated very often. And if I do, it's like, Zach hears it. But I felt this urge to call Cami because I started freaking out at the beginning of May, because you guys have to remember, like, some of you guys on here might be freaking out too, in the sense of like, I don't know if it was too good to be true or what it felt like, but it was starting to happen so fast. And I know some of you also might be judging me because you're like, that's a good thing, but it's weird because I went diamond in January, double in February, and then I went presidential in April. And now I'm set up to go presidential. I'm one away, and it should happen by the grace of God. That's the only way it's going to happen, because I need about 40K in volume. But it's just, I freaked out. And this is the thing, is I called her and she was doing her hair and makeup or whatever. And I was like, I just need to talk. Just let me talk. And she was like, okay. And I start talking and I'm like, I'm not making sense. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm freaking tired. Like, I'm so tired. And then I was just scared. I was like, my team's so new. What if I'm forcing this? Like, I don't think it's a matter of, do I want it for the wrong reason? But what if I'm forcing people that aren't ready? Like my girl going triple, she went diamond, double, and is going triple this year. She's this fragile young mom who like didn't sign up for this, you know, like she signed up for 500 a month and it just has worked out so beautifully. But I just started panicking at the beginning of May. And I'm like, what if I'm being selfish? Because in order for me to promote, they have to promote. And I was so freaking set on, they're not ready. I know they're not ready. I'm scared. And I just started talking in circles. And she was like, here's the deal. You guys are feeling this momentum that's been going on for a minute now, like all of 2020. It's technically usually slowing down around this time, but it's not. And that feels a little foreign, but it's normal to be exhausted. Promotions aren't supposed to happen easy. Like these feelings are very valid. The thing is usually we have this high and then it slows down and it's like kind of like this, but it's still been on that high and the momentum's still here. And I think it's really weird for a lot of people. And I feel like the exhaustion has started to catch up to my team and I just freaked out. And so anyways, I just had to voice these things. And I just felt like she told me enough to where I'm just like, it's here and I'm going to write it. And you guys only need 3 people directly under you and you place accordingly after that. So it's like, I'm doing all of the things in the right way. It's just happening a little faster. And she just was like, you're going to know if you're doing it for the wrong reason. And you're going to know if something makes you sick because you're not supposed to be using that person. And so I was standing there and I'm just like, everything feels right. I'm just scared thinking about June and all of my yellows. I just attract all these yellows and it's great. But then I'm like, be a little aggressive here. I'm thinking about all my girls and I'm like, I don't know if they could lead this. I don't know if they could do this. And I started freaking out and she was like, stop worrying about June. We're in May. Like that stuff comes as it goes. And it was just so wild. So I'm just sharing all these breakthroughs I had. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And then it just literally the doors have opened and I just got really scared because I remember the last thing I said to her was like, I said this to Zach because he's like, if all else fails and you don't go pres this month, you'll go next. And I freaking hate when I'm being told that. I hate it. He said the same thing when I went ambassador. And I told Cami, I was like, I'm very scared. This is going to sound very, very yucky, but I'm very scared to make my mind up that I'm going to go and then to fall short. Like I either hit something or I'm far away and I don't want to come up close. Like, and I just, she questioned my motives on that and was just kind of like questioning me on why I'd want to feel that. And that probably was a little bit of selfishness feelings. But anyways, I just feel like I had to voice all of these things instead of keeping them in. And I dropped it and I figured it out. And I've done more self-development this month for myself and my heart, not leader. I mean, I love leadership books, but I've just been diving into the word, all things centered around just feeling better about myself and not having to be in control. And I feel so good. And this past Friday, I decided it's going to be May 1st because I kind of wasted the first half of the month. I wasn't really where I wanted to be. I was filling everybody else's cup and I had to chill out. And so Friday was May 1st for me. So technically it's like May 3rd. And I'm just not going to worry about the wasted time. And I'm just going to dive on in with what I have left. And whatever is going to be, I feel calm and at peace about because it's not up to me. I'm just going to work really hard. But at the end of the day, if it's meant to be, he's going to make it happen. But that's just, I don't know the point of me talking all of that, but it just all kind of came out.
It's so good. No. Okay. So you're talking about that girl. This is like a question that kind of relates to that girl. So you signed her up. She didn't do anything. Like it's honestly reminds me of my story, like how I was just like stalking the team pages, but I didn't want to do it. And I didn't want to say that I was going to do it. And then, so this girl just reaches out to you. So like, how do you create this So, okay, she last month signs 50 customers. How are you creating your team to work as much as you? Like, obviously, yes, your passion is like, it just lights up the whole room. Like it's contagious, but you're signing 100 customers last month. Like, how can you cast that vision for them to be like, okay, yes, like you can, I mean, I have told my team, like, these are the steps to do it and people are doing it, but I have yet to find a handful of people that you have right now. You know what I mean? Who are like so passionate. They know their numbers. They know, like, where they're going. And so how are you casting that vision for them? And how are you like making them work just as much as you are? Is it just like you're showing and they're just doing it? So how, just kind of explain that a little bit.
That's a really good question. And I think, like, if I had to be like awkward for a second and talk about like the good stuff that I do think one of my gifts is being able to hold someone's hand and get them where they need to be. Like, I think about when I went ambassador, I needed a triple diamond, like, built from the ground up. Like, she was a diamond maintaining like ruby. And I remember having this conversation with her because I had a couple options. And at this point, like I said, my ambassadors were people, when I went ambassador, it was people that have been around for at least 2 years. So you have friendships with these people. And I remember having this talk with I was talking it through with Zach, and I'm like, here are my options. This girl's close, very close, but this girl's work ethic, I think I really, and I'm just like talking it out. And he's like, you got to go with the one that seems far, but your heart's telling you to go. So I had this conversation with this one girl, one of my girls, and I was just like, here's the deal. I didn't say I want to use you. I almost just physically said that out loud, but I was like, I want you to be the triple blah, blah, blah. And I had this talk and I laid it all out there. And I'm like, here's what's going to have to be. She's very quiet. And I kid you not, for that next 60 days, because we made up our mind at conference, we were doing it, and we did it that next month. For 60 days, we just held hands, got on Zoom every day. I just literally told her everything I was doing, talked it out loud, and she completely transformed. And I don't want to be like cocky, but I really do think I have a gift of holding someone's hand and getting them where they need to be, as long as we're holding hands. The issue with that is you cannot hold everyone's hand. And so while I can get people where they want to be, especially if we're doing it together, the issue that comes from that is that the next month, when I have to move on to the next person, their feelings are hurt. And I don't drop them, but I'm like, I love you now. I can't call you every morning to make sure you're good. All those things, like, it's time for me to move on now. And they sometimes slow down or get stalled or send me these text messages where they're like, I need you to love me, and I need you to like do this with me. And I'm like, I can't do anything else for you. Like, we got there. Now you got to do it, kind of thing. And so there is good and bads to that. But I do feel like, yeah, I get on a Zoom, I get around the people that I know can match my energy. And I think as you're in this longer, you have those gut feelings. So like when I was explaining to Zach, I wish you guys just knew my chart, because you'd be like, oh, wow. Because I had a girl that was very close box wise, like if not boxed, but this girl was like taking 5 steps back. But I was like, but I think there's potential there. I think that there's potential. So sometimes we have to make those decisions, and you guys have to give yourself that like credit, especially if you've gotten diamond and above. It's like, you guys know how to do it. If you did it once, you can get someone there. But I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. And so I just match their energy. And sometimes, guys, I still make those mistakes. Like, I'm not going to be like naive in thinking that every single person on this Prez 2.0 is killing it, because there are people last night that I was like, you two didn't get on my Zoom. Like, what the heck? I thought we were on the same. They were getting drunk on Instagram, but it's okay. They can live their life. They can live their life too, but it's okay. I'm being tested because I'm like, why don't they want it as bad as me? But it just happens. But I just honestly match their energy. I get them on, and I sometimes think, because I do attract a lot of yellows, and there's goods and bads about that, but I have to, when it comes to casting the vision, I don't physically know how to explain it, but I love people. And I think that loving people is very easy. So some of us don't have leadership skills, but we all know how to love. And I just always paint the picture for them, because a lot of times we have to remember that they don't know that they can go. Like, I think about my girl going triple. She doesn't know, and she had a breakdown, and she was like, I don't think I can do this, and I don't want to let you down. And I just had to like almost teach her how to dream. Like, you're going to literally stop this happening because you thought that maybe you would make $500 a month, and now you don't know what you're going to do with 10,000, and you're freaking out. And then I start picking it apart with her, and she starts like getting so excited about everything that's going to come from it, and how like she doesn't have to do this if she doesn't want to, and she's going to be able to do this. And I just sometimes think that we don't dig a little deeper and put that emotion in there. And so I just think that that's important, knowing that they don't know what they don't know, and you guys do have the ability to cast vision. That's just such a crazy saying. Like, everyone says, how do you cast it? How do you cast it? That's a lot of pressure to try to figure it out. But I feel like when you're having those one-on-one conversations, and you do believe in your people and you love them, you automatically cast that vision without like thinking too much into it. So I think the biggest thing I would say is, what will help you love others and cast that vision and run and get people to work with you is by showing up. I got a lot of people that I love so much, but I'm like, you just talk the talk a lot, but you got to make sure you're walking the walk too, because people don't look past your words, if not. But I think it's letting go of the people that aren't matching your energy. And so many times we drag them and we're like, I physically need them. And I know it sucks and it hurts. And I had to do it the other day. I had to just physically let go of someone that just didn't want it the same. And it is a-okay to have that conversation with someone and to say, I love you, but I feel like I'm wanting it more than you. And I have got to put my time into the people that are matching my energy. If anything changes, I'm here, but I can't pull you anymore because it's absolutely draining. And letting it go, and something just lifts off your shoulders, and then you're more available for those people that do want to match your energy. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you're feeling lost and you're like, I don't know how to do it, you got to start showing up. And you have to be hungry to be better. And I feel like that's what's helped me this month, is diving into all these books about just being a little happier. Like, I don't know, all these weird books. I just want to be happier and better. And like, I just want to like look for validation in God and not in like the paycheck and all the things. And I feel like when I do that, I can turn around and be like, guys, this is what I learned. Guys, I just got out of this freaking black hole. Guys, this is this. But if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not believing in it, you can't cast that for anyone else.
No, that's so good. And I was actually talking to one of my leaders today because I was talking about like how we're going to do this Zoom, and we're talking about like casting vision. I was like, I honestly don't know. I know for a fact that if I didn't talk with you and you'd be like, okay, like, let's go presidential this month. Like, I literally, it would have not been on my radar. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be presidential in September. And when you said that, it was like, okay, now I got to gather my team and say, okay, my triple, like, you're going to go triple. And I don't know if I would have cast that vision for her if she would have been able to go triple. So it's so important to just know that like your words have so much power, and your team's looking to you and your sidelines are looking to you for you to just say that you believe in them. And you have to continue to say it over and over and over again. So with your girls, I know this, but it was a question. How are you like creating this community with them? Because it's obvious that you have a community, like you're working together, you know where your numbers are. Do you have like Zooms that are going all day, like working Zooms? Talk a little about like your messenger chat with your 2.0 team and just how you're, doing that with them.
Yeah. Okay. So I love, like I said, I do think I'm good with holding people's hands, and like, I love to run. I mean, don't we all love to run with our runners, but I'm not always good at the people that don't run, because I'm like, wait, I don't know how to, like, if you're slower, I don't quite know how to do it. But that's that's a story for another day. I need to pray about that one. But I love leadership because it's like, I just feel like I could talk people off the ledge, or maybe not even say the right stuff, but I just feel like I'm seasoned in that because it's been a while since I went diamond. So I love that. So on Mondays, we do diamond Zooms. And I try to, I either like get a guest on or I prepare or whatever. And I feel like that sets the pace for our whole team. And I just get excited about that because they just still, even though like so many of them are triple and double, they still like want that love from me. So that helps with that community with there. And then I also feel like I'm someone like I can be very controlling because I just know this business. I know how to work it for the most part. Like I know how to do everything except for blitzing and parties, which I don't really want to know how to do those. But other than that, like the issue with that is I'm very controlling in the sense of like, I don't need to ask because I could probably just do it better myself. And it's kind of an issue because then you get really tired and you have these days where you're like, why the heck won't anyone step up, So I had to come to a point, and I don't even know when this was, like a while ago, where I just started asking more. And the thing is like sometimes you have to step down, and it's so freaking hard to be like, post the Zoom and to not give any advice and to be on it and be like, why is she saying those things? Like I wouldn't say them that way, but like they grow that way. And so I had to start asking for help, and I had to start designating things until they started stepping up, because what I found is I would do everything, sometimes good or sometimes not, but they just loved me to where even if I didn't do something good, they would be like, oh, she's awesome. They didn't think they could level up. And so they wouldn't do it. And then I would have these days where I'd have a mental breakdown and be like, I don't want to be on another freaking Zoom. Like someone do it for me kind of thing. So now I feel like we finally established it because I've asked and I've allowed them to step up, and we do that. We have random power hours. The only thing that is set in stone is the Monday night ones. And then on Sundays, I think it's the same thing for you guys. Sunday nights, we do it an hour before the family call. And I mostly do lead them, but like we honor our spotlight our newbies, do all the things. And I always ask my diamond chat for the most part, unless I'm like, guys, I'm going to kill it and I got this whole thing planned. You guys take a break. I got it. Like sometimes I have those weird moments where I'm like, I'm on one, but usually I just get in there and I'm like, who wants to talk tonight? I need some of your guys' help. I think maybe someone should cover this, or what's on your heart kind of deal. We do that. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do newbie power 30s from 9 to 9:30, and it's great. And we rotate whoever wants to, and they're 30-minute power hours. Okay, so that's really great. And then for my 2.0, I started off with a chat and keeping them close. And now they just all have their chats, and I encourage them to do that at the beginning of April. And that was a very uncomfortable conversation. And some of you guys might need to have this conversation with you. Hopefully I'm doing it this way because I just did it with one of my like lifelong triple diamonds. And she was like, I didn't know I needed to do it. I needed to have a conversation with this group in the beginning of April because I was like, I cannot be the chat person anymore. The chat was getting too big and it was too much. And we had a diamond and a newbie and they can't be in the same chat. Me trying to teach them both, they're at different levels and it got out of control. So I got them on a Zoom beginning of April, just my 3 diamonds at the time, 3. And I was like, hey guys, like it's still awkward because my 2.0 is so new. It's just so weird. And they just don't, they're so quiet and they're so fresh. So I was just on a Zoom. I'm like, hey guys, congratulations, you guys are diamonds. And I love you. But I just need a little bit more from you because I've kind of done it a lot for you and I can't be doing the Zooms all the time for you. And I just encouraged them and they were like, wait, you want us to have our own chats? But then I think what helped them is I was like, I'll be in them to just back you up if you need. But it's so crazy. Once I released it and told them, you guys should probably have your own chats. Like we went triple and like, you know, it just makes sense. They freaking like 360 overnight. It's like almost like they were just, I was making it easy by doing it for them. And then when I gave them that nudge, they were like, oh, let's create a team name for it. And like all these things. And then I'm like seeing stuff on Instagram. I'm like, they did a Zoom without me. Like, what the hell? Like, that's rude, but it's the stuff you want. But sometimes people don't step out until you give them that nudge. So that helps. And then I just now have a leadership chat. And then I have a 2.0 leadership chat where I have to get them on because now we have 5 diamonds and above on my 2.0. So I'm like, I need all of you guys, and I'm doing random Zooms with them. But I think the biggest thing is going where your heart is telling you. Like there are some times where I have to get little clumps on and be like, here's the deal. I don't know what's going on with you, or like whatever it is, you have to act on it and you have got to show up. Like I said, I've had this conversation with some of my girls that just love to say all these things that they're doing, but they don't ever come through. And then they're just wondering why these things are missing. And so I think the biggest thing is showing up and being louder. And you guys, like I said, I had that breakdown with Cami, like I'm just tired and it's starting to catch up and I'm like really tired. Like I cry probably right now. That's how tired I am. But I don't want to feel how it felt in December when I was like, when am I going to hit 5 figures again? And I don't know, like no one will host post for me. Like I just tell myself how it feels during the holidays or when I can't control how things are going. And I'm like, I would much rather feel like I can't keep up and everybody wants me and all the things rather than like, when is that next big boom going to come? And so I've just been trying to instill that in them and overly showing up, because if I don't overly show up, I will be like on the couch, Netflix. Like I'm a very lazy person. And so I have to almost do a lot. Otherwise, I won't do it at all. So I think that that's just something that they respect me for, is I'm always showing up and always showing my face, because otherwise I'm like out the door. So that's just kind of what helps me.
I literally just said that on a Zoom with my team the other day, that I'd rather be so overwhelmed with host to post and overwhelmed with my team contacting me and all of these calls and stuff like that than overwhelmed like to the fact where I'm crying because I don't know how to pay my bills. So just embrace the overwhelming part of it and just know that it's good and it may not last forever. So just quickly, this is just a question. I told you that I had like personal question myself, like how are you taking care of your customers? This is never on any training, and like we need to know, like how do we, you signed over 100 customers last month, how are you taking care of them, and what's your system with your loyal customers?
Yeah, I could be better. I could. This has never been my strong point. And funny, someone could call me out and be like, you shouldn't sign that many if it's not, but it's one day I will. So I actually I talked about this on like Lifers, but I bought these on Amazon, just thank yous that are blank. And I literally, like, if I'm on a Zoom that I'm not hosting and I'm listening, like the done Zoom, like I'm a good multitasker. Like I'll listen and I'll do them on that where I can listen and like write them. And I literally write like, thank you for ordering from me, or thank you for choosing me, message me anytime, don't forget to share your results. Like 3 sentences. And then I sign my name. And in them, I just ordered more. Like I have a postcard that I made on Vistaprint. That's just a picture of my family. And it says, thank you for your support. And I kid you not, you guys, they think that it's like personalized to them. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. I would like to think they put it on their fridge. Well, who knows? But I put that in there. And actually, you would love this. Someone in my downline made these. They're little punch cards. They're so that you get them to order for 3 months. I mean, 6.
Oh, I like that.
I got them in the mail like a week ago. Zach's like, you just wasted your time and money. No one's going to keep that. And I'm like, well, in my head, they're keeping it. So I make them up and then I send those out right away. That is something I don't waver on. And I did sign 106 customers last month. But when you guys are in the rhythm, you're like, okay, I signed a customer. I put it into Connect. Every time on the 1st, I do May 20, like I did May 2020 loyal customers. I make a group on Connect. I don't use Connect for anything else, just to organize my customers. So I don't organize them by coffee customers and by TFX. That's just too green for me. But I make the folder, and then when I like confirm it, I save their number and I put their number in that group. And then I'm like either in my office or something. If I'm out and about, I will literally write in my notepad on my phone, send thank you to this person, and I make sure I get them out. And I have them put together for the most part. I just got rid of or went through them, and then I just have to put a stamp on them and their name, and that's it. And then I send them out. So that helps me first of all, because they almost always text me when they get that, and they're like, thanks for the cute card. Oh, sorry. And I put these in there, the keto energy sticks, because I had so many of them and I don't personally enjoy them. And so I was like, well, I don't want to waste them. So I put them in there just to get rid of them. And then they all started messaging me and they were like, I want you to place an order for those little energy cute things. Like they would ask from, and it was API. And I was like, wait, okay. So I made it a part of my routine. So they always text me and say, thanks for that cute card. What was that thing you put in there? And so we're in conversation there. And then for the most part, they text me when their products come in. But I will say I am not very good at following up with them. So I will try to, after the 25th, like from the 25th to the end of the month, send like one Connect message, which is great to have them all in that thing, because then I can send a message to like this month. In a couple days, I can send a message to all of whatever 3 months ago was and be like, yeah, you just finished your 3 months. It's going to keep going, yada, yada, yada. There are times that I freaking drop the ball and I upgrade someone's and they say, it's only for this month, right? And I have to manually go in and edit it to TFX, and I forget. And I get my butt reamed, but I just apologize. And I like try to get them refunded as soon as I can. And I just say sorry. And I try to get better, but there isn't a perfect thing for me because I'm not green. Like I don't enjoy that kind of thing. And I should probably have an assistant that can contact them for me. I don't know where to find one of those, but that's just the thing that I do that helps me. It's not the best thing, but at least I'm giving them a thank you card. And then I'm at least communicating with them a little bit because they send a message to me like 5 days after whenever they get it. And I get to be like, did your products come yet? Or are you excited? And then whatever. And then I just hope that because the thank you card says, message me anytime, I would like to think that they know it's in their control now, but I don't know. That's probably not the best thing, but that's just the thing that I do. And I try to send those messages whenever we have promotions and stuff. Or if I'm just like bored tomorrow, I might send a message to all of April's and be like, show me your results, or how are you loving your products, or whatever. But I'm not the best at it. I'll just be honest with that.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my team because that's like something I want to like thrive in, like to where when people are done with their 3 months, like they have confidence that like they've seen my post and that they want to sign up as a distributor or continue to order. And so this is something I started last month that I'll just share with you guys super quick. I just like printed out a calendar for May, and like every time a customer orders, I didn't put any in for yesterday or today, but I'll just write their name on there. So today's the 18th. I have 4 names to fill in right there. And then it's super simple because every Monday I can just go back to the people who ordered on Monday, and I know that they ordered 2 weeks ago. So they should have their product by now. And then on like Wednesdays, I can go back. And that way I'm contacting maybe like 10 people a day instead of at the end of the month. I've been in your position where I will send out a message at the end of the month and it's like, I haven't been my best with it. And I also made like a video for my customers through Zoom, just like this, and it was recorded. And it's literally like showing them, like I'm showing them someone else's customer account, how they can change their information. If they don't finish their 3 months, this is how they do it. Here's their login. Or if they don't, turn it off after the 3 months, it'll keep running. So that's just something that's worked for me. And I'm like creating videos right now, like based off of what product people are ordering. And like, I don't have a fancy camera. I'm just doing it on my phone. I'm like, hey, this is how you make your coffee. But I think that that's something we do need to talk about more, because we talk about getting all these customers in, but nobody talks about how to take care of them. And I think that that's the most important thing to keep the volume up and to keep their enrollments up, is to get those customers to continue to order. So last question that I have for you. So right now, obviously you have 2 kids and they're home. How is like life with that? Obviously, you know, right now, obviously, yes, your husband is retired and he does, you know, he's at home. And so how do you balance everything? Like that's something Pam was just talking about on the Show Me the Money call. Like, how are you balancing being a mom and also working this business? What sacrifices are you having to make? And like, we have newbies on here, so I don't want to scare anyone away, you know, but obviously it takes a lot of work. It's not just like you do this here and there because you're like, hey, I'm going price 2.0. Like you want to make this like legacy money for your family. So just a reminder, that's when she shares her sacrifices, that's what she's after. If you're just after a few $100s a month, you don't have to live your life like this, you know. But I want to hear this because I get into that, like the mom guilt of, oh, like I'm not being a good mom, or maybe I'm not being a good business owner. So how do you balance that? Do you put your phone away? What's kind of your rhythm with that?
Yeah, this is a question you guys have to take lightly if you're not in the same position, but it's also something that I've changed so many times because it's freaking hard. And I don't know if you ever overcome that mom guilt. Like I'll have a week where I'm like, I'm on top of the world and I'm killing it. But then the next week I'm like, they don't love me anymore. Like I failed them. So I feel like it never really gets perfect. But I'll say that, things are different. So like when I joined, Carter was 8 months old and he was the easiest baby. So let's talk about Elijah because Eli was so freaking hard and he just had all these issues. And so he was up like a problem child, like colic, but we didn't know it was colic and all these random things. So he was hard. And I felt like I didn't have that connection with him. So I will say, I mean, let alone he was hard. And then Zach went back to work around the same time. And then my business was super bad. So it's like I was already all around struggling. But I will say a breakthrough I had was in January when I was like making my comeback with my little 2-month-old baby that hated me. I swear he hated me. It's like when I made that decision, because here's the issue with this business. The issue is like, I can tell myself I don't compare, but it's like, it's very hard to not look left or right. Like Ashley and I, we even had this conversation where like she was telling me something last week and she was like, something you said, you didn't intentionally say it, but it kind of stuck with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did. Like you don't intentionally do it, but like she might sign 10 customers tomorrow and I had a bad day and now I think I suck. You just go there. And so I was having this issue because I was like, I had this newborn and I couldn't really figure it out. And I was just like, no one gets how hard it is. Like, I just had this mindset of like, because I had 2 kids and of course there are people that have 50 kids in this business, but I like felt in my heart that no one understood. And I would look at people that had multiple kids and had it all together, or their kids all were potty trained or whatever it was. And I had all of these things that I was looking at and I'm like, I can't wait till that's me. And I was wrapped up in it to where I was like almost paralyzed. And it's like when I addressed and I stopped being paralyzed and I was just like, this is just how my life is. I have a hard newborn. I can't fix that right now. I have to just work around it. I feel like I was trying to stop him from being hard and looking at all these people that had it perfect. And I was like, I don't know what to do. But instead I was just like, this is just my life. He is hard and I'm just going to do the best I can. If that means I have to miss out on a Zoom, I have to miss out, but I can't fix this right now. And so that did help me because I stopped comparing, because I'm like, there's no point in looking at this person when I just can't fix him. Can't. But then once he hit 1.5, I started seeing all these other leaders put their kids in school and my kids weren't old enough to where they had to yet. So I started getting really, really in my head because I was like, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom anymore, but I can't leave. Like, so someone's got to go here. And so I really wanted to put them in school. But then I started feeling really bad. Like, what if everyone hates me? Because people would kill to be home with their kids and now I'm getting rid of mine. So I called like Tiffany and Aaron, people that like confidently did it, and they helped me like not care about what people think, and like it's okay to not want to be home with your kids all the time. Like that's okay for me to realize, well, I'm not the best crunchy good stay-at-home mom. And so I ended up like looking for schools, and I wasn't going to settle for a daycare that wasn't educational, and I would love for it to be Christian based. So like I wasn't going to do someone that was babysitting. And I say that lightly. If you have someone that you're hiring to babysit, that's okay. But I felt like it made me feel a little bit better. So I found a school that was actually teaching my kids and it made me feel better. And I enrolled them. And then I was on a schedule where it was just me, myself, and I. There are perks of that because when they came home, I felt like I didn't have to feel guilty for those 3 hours before bed because I had the opportunity to work my butt off all day. And if I didn't work my butt off all day, well, that's on me. That sucks. I'm not going to just go into my office when they get home. Okay, so things are different now because they've been in school for 2 years. And I will say, judge me, but I did put him back in school 3 weeks ago because Tennessee lifted its ban and it's just not that scary of a cause here. And judge me if you want, but we never had any cases and they're safe and healthy and great. So they're in school and I don't have anything to do at home, anybody at home besides Zach. Life looks different, but I also still face those issues of I could do whatever I want. Like I could be going to get my nails done, or I could be on the couch watching Netflix. Like it's not always easy. But when they were home and stuff, I just needed to adjust my schedule when I had to. And what helped me on my road to ambassador, and then I stopped doing it. I did it from Prez to ambassador. So for 2 years, I would wake up at 6 and my kids woke up at 8 because they were home all day. And I was like, I physically can't work that good knowing they're out in the other room. Sometimes, yes, I can handle it. But if they're out in the other room, you never know when they're going to come in. And that's distracting in itself. So like knowing that they weren't going to wake up before 8, we've always been very strict on bedtime. That's something I don't take lightly because I need some kind of structure. So I knew that they wouldn't get out of their beds before 8 in the morning. So I had to adjust my schedule and I started loving waking up at 6. And then I would host Zooms because I couldn't let them down. I couldn't snooze my alarm if 20 people were getting on the Zoom that really helped me get those 2 hours, because also around that time, people are rolling out of bed, looking at their phone right away, getting ready for work, or at work doing nothing at 6 in the morning. And I would get so many host posts up and kill it and set my pace for the day, to where if it was one of those days where my kids were buck wild and I couldn't do anything, at least I got those 2 hours in. Life is different because Zach is home and he does play mom and dad oftentimes, but he also didn't sign up for that. And I don't want him to be the babysitter. And I do enjoy having him home with me, but we both have stuff we want to do to keep our sanity. So I don't pin it all on him, but there are certain things like Zach does the laundry, I do the dishes. I can't stand the laundry, he hates the dishes. So I will make sure that I keep the kitchen clean. He makes sure the clothes are put away. Like we have things that we do to make each other have a lighter load. He likes to sleep in. I get the boys ready in the morning and I get them breakfast because he hates getting them breakfast. He doesn't like to talk to people in the morning. And then I take them to school, and then I usually have Zooms after dinner. He gets them dinner and he puts them down for bed. So it's like we have those little things, and then in between, it's up to me. We also have this thing where Monday through Thursday, I'm cram-packed with Zooms. I am so freaking busy, and a lot of times at night, it might be a random Wednesday that I have off, but a lot of times my boys don't come in here at night because those are my 4 days that I have to hustle and bustle. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I better be like as hands-on with them as I can. I'm still working my business, but Friday nights are fun. They stay up a little later. Like I can't just only do it work. So those are the things right now that are working for me, but it wasn't always this way. We have switched things up. And like I said, it's been years, maybe at least a year, I guess, that I have not woken up at 6 a.m. I hate waking up now. I can't wake up. I physically cannot get out of bed before 7:45. My body I'm so tired. So it's okay for things to stop working and for you to need to change it up. I just realized when I was forcing myself to do it and I couldn't, I wasn't of service to anyone. So now I just make sure I'm really intentional once I get them to school. And that's how my schedule works now.
Yeah, that's so good. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's easy for her. You know, her husband's home. But guys, she worked this, like, she didn't even say it, but she like started this when she was a college student. So she also was in school when she first started. She had a newborn, and now her life is just a little bit different because of the hard work that she put in. So just lastly, I just want you to close us out with just like anything that's on your heart. And if nothing's on your heart, then we'll just end. But I feel like something is.
If nothing's on your heart, oh gosh. I wish I was reading the comments, but I can't do two things at once. So I wish I could know, like, if I knew someone needed to hear something or whatever. But you guys, I would just say, like I said, you're someone out of this 122 people, like someone has to be feeling the same way in the sense of like, I'm a little bit mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. You guys, I have had these situations. I did it after Ambassador. I remember having that talk with Zach, and he was like, I was so crazy going Ambassador. And then I ended up going on the 26th. It ended up being really great. But in the beginning of the month, when it wasn't such a clear vision, I remember being like, I gotta go. I have got to promote this month. And I remember Zach saying the same thing that I hate. If you just work really hard, and if you don't, you'll automatically go the next month. And I was so annoyed. And I remember he was just like, why do you really want to go this month? Like, what is it? Like, why do you want to go this month? And I remember I physically was like, because I want to just chill the hell out. Like, I want to make it, and then I want to relax, and I want to just do what I want to do on my own pace. Like, that's really why I wanted to go Ambassador. That's how tired I was. And then I went Ambassador, and then you kind of get in your head a little bit. I got a little bit weird because I didn't know what to do, and my 2.0 messed me up a little, and I stopped the momentum on my team. I stopped it. I completely stopped it. And it is way freaking harder to start the momentum when you're the one that stops it. Mark has like paved the way for us to have the momentum, like to where it's like, I don't know when it's going to slow down. I don't feel like it's anytime soon. You don't want to be the reason that you stop it because you chose to, because you're tired. So just, even though you're tired right now, and even though some people feel so freaking far from their promotion, some people will do it on the 25th, but most people, you're going to fight until the very end, and it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And I just wanted to just let you know that your work is worth it. And I love when it hits the 15th. And I think that's why the 15th was May 1st for me, because sometimes in the beginning of the month we have this vision, but it feels like, oh, month's ends are really far away. And before you know it, it's like 4 days past and you haven't done what you want. So when the 15th hits, something internally, it flips the switch, and I'm like, time's a ticking, like we gotta go. So I feel super like lit and excited now that I know we are getting close to month's end. So just borrow that belief and know we have 2 weeks left, 2.5 weeks, however much. There are time, this is the time now where things will happen, but you have got to make those sacrifices now that are crazy, and you have to just ride on that exhaustion and know it's going to catapult you into June. And when things inevitably slow down in the fall or in the winter or next year, in 5 years, who knows at this point, you are going to be like, I am so freaking glad I worked as long as I did, because I got $15,000 more during those 3 month span or whatever it is, you guys. So just keep on going. I just wanted to address the people that are equally tired. Don't stop it. I know that sounds crazy that what I said about going ambassador, but I kid you not, I went and then I'm like, I get to do whatever I want now. And I completely stopped it all. And then we were at the bottom of the hill trying to figure out how we were going to get back up. So I am cheering you guys on, and I'm super thankful that you guys listened to me talk so long for a freaking hour.